Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. The show is about conversations that matter, transforming lives one story at a time. And we're so happy to be back to keep those conversations going. I have another amazing guest with us today. He is a singer-songwriter of the country western genre, and he's making incredible waves in the music charts in Canada. Please welcome Jeff Orson to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm so glad that we're able to connect. It's been some time.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. What, 5 months? 4 or 5 months?
5 months.
Yeah.
But today's the day, and
I
can't wait to celebrate with you. Your success is incredible. I just want to congratulate you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You know, the music that you're producing, the impact that you're making, people are really resonating with your music. But before we talk about how you got to the music, tell us a little bit about your background leading up to that point.
So I was not a professional musician 6 years ago, as you well know, and I was diagnosed with, sadly, with cancer.
Oh.
So I had been doing some, I always played guitar a little bit, but I hadn't picked it up in years. Started doing some writing just to take my mind off of being sick. That's exactly how it was. And a very nice custodian who was in the hospital heard me playing and said, "You should go and play at a club in town." And I thought, well, I don't know if it's any good or not. And she was probably being very nice because I had a lot of tubes and things sticking out of me at that time and unsure of my prognosis. But I thanked her. And I never did play that club. But not too long after that, someone heard me playing in a club. I played in another place in just outside of Toronto. And someone heard my music and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about recording?" And one thing led to another. And here we are today, 6 years later.
Amazing, amazing. You have a great story about that gentleman who came to you when you were in the hospital, and I think you were dreaming about something that you'd like to have, like a snack, and then he just came and brought it for you, like he picked that up. Do you remember that story?
I'm just trying to think of that one now. I think my story in the hospital was that I had my guitar with me, and I was playing away and just writing some stuff like that, and then I kind of got inspired because there was some very, very, very sick people on the ward where I was. And I kind of wrote a little song around that, and that was one of the numbers that I played that that kind of started me on this road.
And what was the very first song that you
very
wrote?
first song I let's say recorded, professionally recorded and kind of released was a song called "Rainy New York Morning." I was in New York going into a meeting, a business meeting. And I was sitting there, and it was, how things sometimes don't get off the ground right away. And it was starting to rain outside, and it was really humid, and I was kind of had it, and I was ready to go home. So I started writing these lines down on a piece of paper before the meeting, and then as it went on, and then I wrote the song on the plane, landed, and then went and did a demo of it in the studio. A couple days later, and that was Rainy New York Morning. And I still, when I play it, and when we did that big cancer show in San Francisco in February, have people request it, even though it's really not on a record or anything like that. It was just a little video we did and recorded it. So that was kind of the first one that people still, I guess, resonate with because they always ask me to play it. So excellent.
And I know that you have some music out right now that's just been on fire.
Yeah, it's done really well. We started with Pray this year, which was really crazy. Played in the Middle East and the UK and a lot of different places around the world. I think 45 different countries, and was great in the States. Went really well obviously really well in Canada. Did a fundraiser for that for COVID-19 and had a nice shout out from Jan Arden. on that, and then followed up with a song called Faith, and then released Faith in the States again during this last rise in COVID, and got an amazing response in like 4 days. Then we did All Summer, which is on radio right now, right across the country, I think in every province. I don't know, getting up to 40 stations now, which for an independent artist, unsigned without a label, is great. Is more than I could ask for. So very, very happy with that. So All Summer's done very well. We had Little White House, which is still in rotation, which released in January, which that really had, like, I guess it was very popular with listeners, and it's still going. So it's been a great ride so far. And this year, no live shows. Obviously, took us so long for us to get here to the studio because of COVID and whatnot. So no live playing really. Some interviews and Instagrams and FaceTimes and Zooms and all that stuff, but no actual live performance, which is kind of takes the momentum out of things, because I was playing in a lot of cities, both here in Canada and the United States. But that's how it goes in the new world we're in right now.
Absolutely.
Hopefully things return to somewhat of a normal sometime soon with a vaccine or whenever that will be, and we'll be able to feel it with a live audience again.
Yeah. I long for that day. You know, I realize that people are really craving connection through this, the COVID quarantine.
Yes.
And so I guess steps at a time, but this is the new normal. And
sure.
I don't think...
that's exactly right. I just, until this is what it is, people I think are craving contact. They want to get together again in groups and celebrate things, whether it's weddings or birthdays or concerts or I don't know, whatever people like to celebrate or group together for. This has really hurt certainly touring live artists, but many other people, sports and different things like that. But hopefully we're on a road to recovery and coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really hopeful for that day.
Me too.
But tell me a little bit about, your inspiration to writing songs. Like, what gets you to that moment of muse where you're pouring your heart out and crafting this music?
I think usually I've got to have some peace and quiet, and I'm alone. Rain helps, but I write in the sun or whatever, it doesn't matter. But rain helps, kind of lower light, but that kind of solitude. I've written a lot in hotel rooms when I've traveled, different places, cottages, and wherever I've been. But I've got a special kind of writing place at home which looks out onto a number of trees, wooded area, and when it snows. And there's a little apple tree in the back, and they're little tiny apples, and they look like holly, and they get snow on them, and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And so I think it's probably having some quiet and some alone time, and then crazy enough, it usually is a line, and I usually wake up with it in the morning or after a nap, but usually in the morning. Sing it in the shower, or something like that. I write it down right away, and then I build on it from there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how the process is, and it might be something that affected me 20 years ago that I've just thought about, or it might be something in the news, or it might be just there's been a lot of sad tales in the news as of late. And I don't sit down and write about a news story, but I think probably you get feeling a certain way, and it brings out those emotions, and then you start to put sentences and lines together, and a melody and whatnot, and you go from there.
Excellent. What is the next step for you? I know that you're looking forward to those moments of going back on the stage and performing.
Sure.
But do you see yourself kind of expanding in your kind of music repertoire? Are you thinking of producing or going to other directions in the music industry?
I had a couple other people ask me. I thought, with a couple of other artists, Doing some more co-writing,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've done that a couple times, and it's worked out really well. I've got a ballads EP coming out in the fall, and got together with a fellow named Dave Woods, who also was in radio for many, many years, and put a song together called Drowning, which we put out. I know that you saw it and heard it because you liked it, just as a demo before a full production. So doing some more co-writing with other people as opposed to just being kind of a solo artist. And then kind of exploring some other things. I mean, you have your kind of up-tempo songs. Got one now called Big City Living we're working on now to release at somewhere over the holidays. And it's kind of your typical country song about a guy who goes from the country to the city and all the things that happen. He realizes how much that he loves the country. Okay, so kind of that kind of country thing, kind of country song. But I really enjoy writing ballads. Now, radio is hard to get ballads played on. Okay, they like catchy, upbeat songs.
Right.
And so, but when I put them out, people love them. Like I get such a response and write-ins on social media. Who are you? Where are you from?
Yeah.
You have a lovely voice. And for every country song, radio song that goes out, people like them and they're very kind and write in and request it and what was your idea behind this? But the ballads are crazy. Like do very, very well.
Right.
So obviously there's a market out there that I want to, or a listener that likes this stuff. I really enjoy writing it. So going to do that kind of a ballad EP, and everyone's like, well, Jeff, it's not gonna sell. No one's gonna listen. I mean, it's not about that. I got my other music for radio and country songs and lots of fun stuff. But heartfelt ballads are I love writing them. I love doing them. They're really stripped down. There's not a lot of place to hide in that performance when you're playing with just a piano. Like it's you, the vocal, the sound, the lyrics, and the piano. And boy, if you don't get that all right, it doesn't work. People don't like it. So people don't listen to it.
Yeah.
So doing that as well.
Yeah.
So those are kind of branching out into something that I've forgotten about for a while or put behind and really enjoy doing. Not so much for commercial aspect, but just because listeners enjoy it so much. And I think you have to write for what people enjoy.
Exactly. Exactly. Excellent. Jeff, what would you say to someone right now listening to this, watching this interview? What message of hope would you give them during these unusual times?
Just because something bad happens to you doesn't mean that you can't recover from it. And sometimes things that are bad or disparaging turn out to be a blessing. I know that sounds corny, but it's true. And that anything you set your mind to, or most anything, if you really want to do it, you can have some level of success if you try hard. And you really can't listen to a whole lot of people at first because no one hears it, and everyone thinks you're out of your mind. You're how old and you're going to start singing what? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But as time goes on and people come along on the journey with you, it starts to become real. So I would say that out of a bad time, and it could be personal illness or a loss of a loved one or something to do with the pandemic, with COVID, all the sad things that we've heard, that sometimes something good can come out of that, and that it's never too late to try something new.
Excellent. Excellent. Jeff, where can people find your music online?
Well, there's not a lot of Orsons on social media. So you just have to go to Jeff Orson. It's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, www.jefforsonmusic.com for my website with shows once those start up again and new releases and photos and interviews and all that stuff. Very, very easy to find. Okay. Simple.
Excellent. Yep. Well, I'm glad you found me. And that
You
we're
know
here.
what? It was a strange thing. Yeah, I'm glad I found you as well.
Awesome. All right. Jeff Orson, everybody. Reach out to him on social media and get his music. You won't regret it. We'll be back.
The Nikki Clarke Show, transforming lives one story at a time. If you would like to be a guest or become a part of our live studio audience or even to become a sponsor, just go to www.NikkiClarkeNetwork.com.